I can't lie, Capo, they ain't even fucking with me.
What's up, y'all? My name's Trayvon. I'll be your host of Old Fashioned Sit Down.
My name's Cole, and I'm Trayvon's trusty sidekick,
Co-host, actually.
co-host.
So, y'all, we started Old Fashioned Sit Down last week. This is episode 2. If you're seeing this, thank you. If you came back from watching the first episode, thank you again. Man,
And if you're interested in a sponsorship, make sure you contact us. We've already got Buffalo Trace in our video.
amen. We got Buffalo Trace. What'd you think about the first episode?
I had a blast. That's the best thing about this. I get to hang out with Trayvon and have a drink. There's nothing better than relaxing with a good friend and talking about life, man.
Right. Man, I thought it was amazing. Cheers to episode number 2.
Cheers, my friend.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, that is good.
Well done, man.
Buffalo Trace is nice. Hey, y'all.
You're like a pro.
Hey, I only been bartending 3 years. But I was thinking today while I was working earlier, just like, what should we talk about today? Like, what's something going on right now? And I was like, business. Like, I want to open a business. I want to open a coffee shop. I don't know if any of y'all know that. I want to open a coffee shop. And I'm like, who would be the best person to talk with about business? I mean, I got a few people in mind. You're definitely one of them. Because, I mean, how long have you been doing business, you would say?
Man, I was blessed. I had some help to get started. I was 23 years old, and I started a small insurance sales. So I was an insurance agent. I sold insurance.
Right.
It was just me, and I had someone to help me speak Spanish because that was vitally important to.
So you know a good amount of Spanish?
Well, yeah, and through that I learned to speak Spanish. And so here we go. That's lesson 1. Like, know your audience.
Right.
Who are you selling to?
Right.
Like, if you got a product and you want to sell it and you want to make money off of it, who are you selling to? In my case, I had a lot of Spanish people come into my office wanting to buy insurance. And yes, they spoke English.
Right.
But to discuss important business like aseguranzas, which is what it was commonly called, it's like safeties, or it's translated safety. But to discuss safety with your life and business and family, you want to speak your common tongue.
Right.
And so it took me many, many years, by the way. I didn't just like up and learn it one day.
Yeah, for sure. You would say we in Grand Prairie, Texas. You think Hispanics or Spanish people? I don't know. No offense to anybody, by the way.
Well, so it's Texas.
Right.
We have the largest border with Mexico. This was Mexico at one point, so to say,
oh my God, I should have stayed in school.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's what Six Flags of Texas is, man. Man, Mexico was one of those flags. Texas was one of those flags. The Confederate was one of those flags. So Texas has been a part of many, many nations, and that's why Six Flags. But anyway, it was Mexico.
Okay.
And so
Dang.
it's like the whole Plymouth Rock landed on us, right? Well, a lot of Mexicans can say like my family was here well before.
So, a story time, real quick. This is so funny. This is when I first moved to Texas back in 2017, freshman year of high school. So in Chicago, I grew up in Chicago, right? 14 years of my life. You got a lot of white people, a lot of black people. It's one thing I never seen growing up, I swear, is a Hispanic.
Oh, wow.
I swear, I'm like, that's like, I've never seen that till I moved to Texas, which is actually crazy. I mean, it also has to do with the area I grew up in, and a lot of high school. I saw this Hispanic girl. I've never seen a Hispanic before, right? I was like, I fell in love.
Oh,
First day,
yeah, baby.
First day freshman year of high school, I was like, wow, you're beautiful. I was like, and we just talked and became friends. We went to lunch together. I thought she was my girlfriend at that point.
Oh yeah,
She did not end up liking me. So it was,
man.
but bro, that was the first time I seen a Hispanic person I just fell in love with.
Welcome to Texas. Latina's been breaking my heart for 40 years, bro.
Bro, I'm so for real, bro. That was terrible with me. See that, bro.
Well,
She was, man.
you know, you live and you learn, right?
Right. But yeah, that was my first time like remembering seeing a Hispanic for the
Yeah.
first time. Because
Yeah.
it's a difference between living in Chicago.
You fell in love.
There's a difference between living in Chicago and Grand Prairie, Texas.
Yeah, so right here in Texas, there's so many Hispanics, and it's a big part of our culture in Texas. I bet you, I don't know, but I bet you, I will put money on it that says the favorite food of those who reside in Texas is described as Tex-Mex.
Right. Yeah. I hear that a lot.
So
yeah.
it's an amazing part of our culture. It's not like, oh, welcome to Texas. It's like, welcome to Texico/Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And even that can be considered like, oh, what do you think this is? No, dude, seriously, man.
If you're here, you understand where that's coming from.
100%. Don Juan's down the street. I eat there 3 or 4 times a week. It is the most basic Tex-Mex you get. But it is not Tex-Mex. It's my food.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know how else to describe it. It's the food I eat
Yeah, like,
on
bro,
a daily basis.
I've been loving tacos so much here, bro. I was door dashing tacos like 3 days in a row. I'm so for real. Just because I've been craving that, because that's what I.
Did you get a little green sauce with it?
Yeah,
That's the way to
bro,
go.
Cilantro,
Oh yeah,
bro, and some pico and queso, bro. Oh,
Well, that's the best part. You can throw 10 different things on it and make
Right.
a different taco, and you have 10 different meats: barbacoa, menudo, suadero.
Yeah.
I mean, they got all kinds
bro,
of
and it's beautiful, honestly, man.
beef, chicken.
But as you were saying, you learned Spanish, so you could relate with your consumer.
And you're talking about business. Like that's another thing. Tacos and food. Like that's a business in itself. And so the lesson there was like know who you're selling to. So
Right, know the consumer.
In your example, you're going to sell coffee.
Right.
Well, who's drinking coffee? I think a lot of people drink coffee, but there's a lot of the market that just simply doesn't. Mm-hmm. And there's also people who like to go to. Why are they going to buy your coffee over making it at home? Why are they going to buy your coffee over Starbucks?
Right.
Why are they going to buy your coffee over?
For me, it's about building that space in your shop that's comfortable, that feels like home, that you want people to leave their home.
So you're looking at a little bit of a chill space as well.
Of course.
Because Starbucks, you can get about 5 to 10 people in there tops.
But
Right?
what are they known as?
Drive-through.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's not what I want to be known as.
Dutch Brothers is another company.
They don't even have inside seating.
Yeah, they don't. It's just a building, and they just like boom, boom, boom. So
Right. That's another reason why I'm like, I started doing things like working at a bar, or started bartending, started doing coffee shops, because it's just that connection with people every day. Like when you meet somebody new, you hear their story, or you just ask them how they're doing. Like it's so much that can be done with a little cup of coffee. And in my case, my area in my coffee shop, I'm having like a creative ideas, like stuff for like a space like this where you could record a podcast.
Yeah.
Like I want to have rooms in my shop where people come and record podcasts, have a latte,
yeah.
maybe even have a drink. Like,
Well, you know what I see a little bit, and the way you're talking, Trayvon, is you're promoting business in itself. You're promoting like space for people to come up with new ideas, to create. And I think it's creative space is the kind of the term that they go to. But
yeah.
and in that regard, now you start seeing the value of that space. Like you can come in here, work on your video editing, and I'll sell you coffee.
Right.
And if they need it bad enough, they'll pay you for that space, right? Like
Right.
there's so many elements there. It's like you get them in there buying coffee, but if they're coming there every day and they're going in the corner and working for 4 hours, but they bought you a $4 cup of coffee.
Yeah. Or they rent my space to record their own videos.
Yeah.
Like they're coming there to create. Like even something like this, making an old fashioned. Like I want my coffee shop to also be a bar at night.
Yeah.
For a minute. Also,
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
Problem is, it may be a bar during the day too, because you'll be able. People will come in and drink during the day too.
Yeah, but it's also it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
Do your espresso martini, bro. I've been recently trying to figure out some coffee drinks where you like mix it with alcohol. Like it's so fun just with coffee and alcohol. It's creative in itself.
So I'm also sometimes called a dream killer because, you know, you got great ideas. You got really good ideas. But at some point you got to determine how much do those ideas pay you?
Right.
And is that enough to pay rent?
Right.
Is that enough to pay rent and then give you a couple dollars to spend?
Right.
Oh, by the way, you got a kid on the way. And now you got to make a lot of money, right? So, so you know, now you got to learn how to scale things. Okay, yeah, it's awesome to have my buddy come in here.
Right. How many workers am I going to have? Like, how much am I going to work?
Yeah. So, you know, stay in school, right? But I'm not telling you to stay in school, but the reason I say that is like math. You don't need to know high calculus, but you got to crunch numbers.
Right.
Okay, 5 cups of coffee gives me a profit of, you know, $7 each. Oh, I'm just not making up numbers off the top of my head. Okay, I get that 4 times. I get 4 times an hour. I get, you know, X amount of cups per hour. I'm open 4 hours. Dang it, I can't pay the bills, right? Okay, so now how do I increase that?
Right.
That's where marketing comes in, advertising comes in, right? And so I could talk all day. A lot of people know it, and a lot of people don't know it. But, you know, that's where the hustle comes in.
Right.
That's where the grind comes in. That's where putting it down. You know, when I sold my first insurance policy for $50, right? Well, the company's got a $10 fee, so it's $40 in pure premium, and I make 15%. So we're talking $6. I made $6, and I'm sitting here going, I just paid rent at this place for $750. My phone bill was $150.
Right.
Computer, you know, just on and on. I'm like, hold on here.
Yeah. Dang, that's so crazy, man. When you say work ethic, that's why I'm 21 right now. Since I was 18, I've always wanted to try out new things. Like I've been a bartender, a barista, a food runner, a manager, to not like a large role as a manager, but like I've managed, like had responsibility of opening and closing a restaurant experience, and I've also been a server now.
Yeah,
just doing those things.
It cracks me up and how you are a humble guy, and I think that's so cool. And what I'm talking about right now is amongst those things which you've gotten pretty good at, and I almost lie when I say you're humble because you're getting pretty confident in that. But you didn't say YouTube reaction video maker. Additionally now you're a podcast star producer. Now maybe I'm selling a bill, right? But those are things that you're doing.
Right, for sure.
That is things that you're spending
your
your
time.
time.
You say that, like, even including YouTube, when I first started, like, these are over the last few years, I'm posting, like, 3 or 4 videos a day, just working hard. I'm making, like, so many videos, just getting out those videos. But recently, I've been coming upon, like, a lot of those videos aren't quality. It's just quantity.
Yeah.
So it just made me skip, like, recently been thinking I need to take more time out to put out a perfect product instead of a half-ass project.
There's a you want to talk about staying in school, chemistry. So there's a unique kind of in between essentially what you're doing. You're a content creator. Mm-hmm. So what is a content creator supposed to do? Content. And what do I say? What do I think? Content. It's like, what do you mean? What about this? What about that? Just content. Put it out. Right. Put it out.
Yeah.
So many things happen from that. So many things. I mean, in that content, you're going to find something that somebody likes.
Right.
You're going to find something that somebody else likes. And that guy's going to click subscribe, but he's also going to go, I'm going to go back there and see what else I can do. Mm-hmm. But also during that content creation, you're going to get better.
Right.
You're going to find out what doesn't work. You're going to have those
Yeah.
10 videos that got 2 views and no reactions, and you're like, okay, what's in that video that I ain't never making again, right? Then you're going to find the one that got all the reactions, and then you got to define between doing something just because it got a reaction,
Right.
versus, okay, in that video I spoke about something that was important.
It's funny that you say that. Like the videos that got 3 views. Like I have a lot of those. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I was
when-
joking, but I figured you got a lot.
No, for real. What you say is, when I first started YouTube, you get so many comments. Well, me personally, I got so many comments. Bro, I can't hear you talk more. Like, you need to speak up a little bit.
A little talking like this, talking like this,
Right.
talking like this, talking
Yeah,
like
but
this.
I didn't even have a mic. I'm just recording this off of my phone,
Oh,
and
that's cool,
I'm
man.
not very loud. I just play the video over. Like, I feel like that's something that I've grown into, like where I'm able to pause confidently and talk about what I'm listening to,
Yeah.
instead of just listening to it all the way through and just saying, "All right, guys, that's the video."
Yeah.
Like it's just consistency, I would say, and just getting comfortable. Because I used to be an introvert.
Oh.
Like, I used to be a bad introvert, like crazy. I mean, I could still be that sometimes, but
Yeah, I
feel
think
like-
introverts are, because I've been both, and I think now I'm more an introvert than ever before.
Right.
But I'm not saying I'm doing this. Maybe I am. But a lot of introverts seem to be planning a way to take over the world. Well, I'm joking, but it's also serious because you're quiet and you're
Right.
thinking, but you're thinking a lot.
Yeah.
You're always like, okay, what about this? What about that?
right,
It's important. I wouldn't be talking business with you in this regard if I didn't think that you exemplified that in what you're doing daily. And I think the most important thing about business is the understand that you gotta work.
right,
And that's applied to life. I mean, you put in the work, this is a cosmic return. The universe will understand that you have put the skateboard at the end of that rail and grinded all the way down,
See,
right?
and that's what I liked about you when I met you. I'm just like, you don't like talk about it a lot, but recently over the years, getting to know you and talking a lot more, I'm like, wow, this guy, you've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And like, you don't show out, you don't wear fancy stuff. Like you don't have on a diamond watch or anything. Like
Our next sponsor, we're hoping to get Howler Brothers on. This is where I showed off. I bought me a nice Howler Brothers shirt. Howler Brothers, holler at us. We're gonna get you in front of people. We'll get you a nice sponsorship going.
Right.
But
Yeah, for real. That would be nice.
But that's the thing is like this was a more recent purchase. This is $100 shirt, which I've never. And I've got multiple. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm saying that like this was my flex.
right.
My flex wasn't a new truck. My flex wasn't whatever. I said, man, I like those shirts.
Yeah, but you've done it,
Yeah. Well, I did. I put
and
in
you're
the
still
work.
doing it,
Yeah.
right, in
Thanks,
different ways.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like
I think, and that's that. I think that what's important with that is there is a mindset to that. It's not a let me go do this. It almost needs to be. You need to embrace it as who you are. I mean, if you're going to decide that you want to earn, and I pause at that because, I mean, we're here. You're doing this to earn. You're doing this to provide for yourself, to trade your time for capital, money, whatever. It's going to require a grind. And I'm
Right.
going to add one thing. We've talked. I like to refer to the Bible. The Bible is a collection of books that were written down a long time ago about life. Okay,
Right.
so again, we can talk religion and heaven and hell and all that, and I love to talk about it. But let's just talk about something that people have been dealing with for a long time. There's a real cool scripture in Ecclesiastes that says, "The dreams of the laborer are sweet," and it goes on to talk about
wow,
the
dang, that's good.
yeah, boy, the rich cannot sleep because of the abundance. They're too busy thinking about it, right? And so it's not money. I'm rich now. I'm not going to sleep well. No, it's the mindset. It's the grind. The
Right.
dreams of the laborer are sweet. When you're done working for the day, and you've put in a full day. Whether you made $1 million, you made $5. You're tired, and you
Right.
go to sleep, and you're going to sleep like a champ.
Yeah, man. Dang, that's good.
Dang.
The dreams are the labor.
The dreams of the labor are sweet. It's funny because
Right.
we talked about learning Spanish. I was in Costa Rica on the bus going to Spanish school, and the bus driver had it up on the deal list. It says, Los sueños del laborador son 12. It said, and I was like, I kept looking at it like, Los sueños del laborador. And I'm like getting my phone out and like looking through it and trying to figure out what it was.
Right.
And it had the quote Ecclesiastes on there. I was like, dang, so he's talking about the Bible.
Yeah,
I got all
that's
excited.
good. Right. Yeah.
And I didn't even get it then, by the way.
Right.
I didn't get it. You know, I just thought, oh, that's pretty cool. It just sounds cool. Like you just did. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I had to like
But
really.
it's so deep when you think about it.
I had to dive
Like,
into it.
Man, that is crazy. Because you can look at somebody, it could be anybody, like anybody who's working hard at something. They have bigger dreams, you know, to grow,
Yeah.
to get a promotion,
Yeah.
to
and
make
so-
more money. Like,
Yeah. So the dreams can be described in many different ways. It can be described like, I'm just dreaming, like, because I'm so tired. I'm just sleeping well and life is good. Or you're thinking about that next step, that next thing in life. You're
Right.
dreaming about becoming a bigger, stronger, a better caretaker.
in a sense, that's me. Like, I want to open a coffee shop. I mean, I'll make more money, but I'll also be able to connect with more people because, I mean, the way I dream is like my shop would be busy every day, like that I'm open. Like,
Yeah.
But my purpose for that is to connect with people.
Yeah.
You know, it,
The connection also will open the doors for more things.
right.
And whether that mean someone who is doing content creativity in your deal and they need your help, or that's something that, hey, I've got this podcast, you're doing this, let's
Right.
talk. The more you are in front of people in that regard, it will grow, it will be beneficial. And you know what, Trayvon? I want you to do a coffee shop, but, you know, this is what you're most familiar with. And as you continue to work and do different things, a coffee shop is likely to be one aspect of your empire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's so much more than just that. Man.
Right. Yeah.
That's where that verse comes in at.
Ooh, see how it kind of links up a little bit there? It's pretty cool.
Like that, it really comes. It really comes in right there, man. It's great. We got a few more.
Okay,
minutes.
good.
Yeah, but like even meeting you here at the bar.
Yeah.
Like that's an interaction that I am grateful for.
Yeah.
That's something that grew. I mean, granted, you come here like almost, I would say, every day that it's open, but you didn't have to talk to me. I'm sure it's a lot of people who work here who you don't talk to.
Yeah, well, and also I come up here every day now, but there were many a times where I'd go. That's nice.
Wait, that was so funny. When the ice melts out the ice machine, it just
Oh, is that what that was?
it falls out. Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah, there's a long time where I didn't come up here at all.
Right.
For many a time. And honestly, I mean, I don't mind speaking about it. A lot of that's when you experience some insecurity about different things, whatever they may be.
Right.
It causes you to not be social, you know. And at one point, about 6 months ago, I did start coming up here regularly, and I just determined that. And then once I kind of broke through that, whatever issue it was, this has been one of the most pleasant things I do. I mean, the diversity here, the different types of people, the different things I can do.
Right.
The things, the music.
And that
food.
also comes from a sense of us making you comfortable.
Oh, yeah. A sense of welcome.
Right.
You know, Jason's going to sponsor us too,
Amen.
because we're promoting Firehouse. You need to come down here, man. This is a cool place. The owner was here moving a couch because he wanted the next person to come in to have a different experience than the last person.
Right.
Every day you come in here, he has moved something or changed something to make this a unique place. And
Right,
so I find that pretty powerful.
You talk about hard work.
Yeah.
I remember my first week working here. Jason and Carly came in here after a party. It was like 10:30 p.m. They let me and my other coworker go home because we got school the next day, and they finished cleaning for us.
Yeah, wow. That's Jason, man.
Like, you just that's a great example of how I would want to run a business, you know?
Yeah.
Like, man, it's just great leadership.
Trayvon, you told me 28 minutes.
Oh.
And
We still
of that.
Oh, of this one.
But the video.
No, it's still recording.
Okay. We can cut that out. I just wanted to make sure.
So this is also something I want to ask you. Have you ever sold a house before?
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like you knew that, but
I really didn't.
I've sold my own house that I owned.
Oh, wait. Yes, you told me that a few days ago. Okay.
And I sell houses as a licensed real estate agent.
Right. How did that feel when you sold your first house?
As an agent?
Yeah.
Like, so I'd been in real estate for a while for my own investments, and then I got a real estate license. And a family friend was like, "Oh, that's so cool! You got your license. Guess what? I'm selling my house."
Wow.
And I think the coolest part is that they trust you with the sale of their largest asset. I think that's probably the most, that's the coolest thing, feelings-wise. Now,
right.
You know, it takes a lot of experience, a lot of time. First-time home buyers, first-time home sellers, you know, you're limited in your knowledge, and I suggest every time an agent. There's an argument about people who have bought and sold multiple times. They need an agent, and that's up to you to decide.
Right.
But you know, when you start talking about closing fees with titles and escrowing insurance and escrowing taxes versus signing off on loans. And look, it's not, none of this is like incredibly complicated, but if you've not experienced any of it,
right,
it's jibber jabber.
So I'm sure there's dry seasons in that career, right?
Yeah. So honestly, I'm selling 2 homes right now, which before about 2 weeks ago, I probably went 6 months without any business. Now, understand, I don't hustle for business. You know, I'm not advertising. I'm not posting on Instagram saying I'm a realtor.
Right.
Call me. That's my choice right now.
Right.
We were talking about working and grinding in business. I suggest you do that if you want to be a realtor. I've been blessed. I can slow down. I can work with the folks I want to work with, which is the reason I grinded back then. Right.
Right.
I feel like I'm good. I always want more money. I always want to make more money. It's always important to make more money. And if nothing else, it's the activity. It's the process. You always want to make another deal.
Right.
But so for everybody, this is a dry spell, is the answer to your question. Up till about the end of 2021, mid 2022, houses in Texas were flying off the market. And at a high pace too. Well, then what happened is the interest rates to borrow money increased. So when it costs more money to borrow money, you can't borrow as much.
Right.
Which means you can't buy the house that you were planning to buy because it costs more money. And that's I mean, I could talk about that. I don't want to bore you to death, but that's where the inflation was going in. These houses were costing so much money, and people were buying them, causing the values to go up. When the values go up, somebody who owns that house says, well, I can raise my rent too. So the rent's going up, and I mean, it's just like boom, all over and over. And so I'll end this until you ask more questions. But the federal government, they then raised interest rates to stop that because it was so out of control that inflation was going up. So they raised the interest rates so that the houses weren't as valuable. And you're thinking the federal government's making my house less valuable? No, it's stopping it from doubling in value. It's still going up.
Wow.
It's
just at a slower pace.
They're just slowing that pace
so
that everything can catch up.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty...
That's messed up.
Yeah. So it's good and bad, and
right.
But it's also necessary.
I mean, that's good for someone who's trying to buy a house, right?
Well, yeah, let me tell you this right now. I mean, my success, what came through that period, as my home values increased, that was my net worth.
Right.
That was my value as a person who's invested before.
Right.
So I did great, right? And so I'm not going to complain that they stopped that. Well, I should say, oh, you're losing my money. It was like, I already won. Now, how much am I going to win by, right? Am I still going to keep dropping threes from half court because I can, right? No, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the second team in.
Right.
I'm going to put the bench players in, right? I'm just making analogies. But.
Right. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy when you think about it. Because I don't know a lot about houses, but you just explained that really well. That's crazy.
Well,
Wow.
I don't know your audience, so if they want to talk business, we can talk business. I just want to make sure we're not boring people to death. Also,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a
that's
line.
valuable information. Like, I need to take that into account in maybe 5 to 10 years when I want to buy a house.
I'm glad you brought this up. Junior Izonu, shout out. I want a sponsorship because you're running for re-election, Junior, and we're talking.
Oh,
about
yes.
you on
I've
the
seen
podcast.
Junior a few times around the city, yes.
He got elected at 21, 22 years old. I was the youngest councilman prior to that. I was elected at 36. I'm 42 now, so he was elected. I was 39, let's say.
Wait, he was elected in 2021? Or at 21 years old?
In 2021, 21 years old. Yeah, young man. So now he's 24, right? And
Yo, that's crazy.
yeah, he's a hustler, man. He's very smart. He's on top of it.
Man, I wonder,
And he beat a really good incumbent. Like, the dude was a sharp guy.
we need to bring him in.
Oh, we'll get him.
I wonder how that feels to be the youngest in a field like that.
Yeah.
Because I've always been the youngest at leadership here at the firehouse.
Oh, okay.
And it's different because you got everybody who's older than you. Like, what that does to your confidence. I mean, he has to be the most confident person ever.
Well, he very much has to, and the good thing is, I think he is deserving of it. I mean, he is confident and he is smart. But let me tell you, I don't want to ruin the story because
Sorry.
he bought a house about 3 or 4 months ago, and so that's another thing I told him. I said I was the youngest councilman. Now you beat me, and I said I bought my house at 23, and you just bought your house at 22 or whatever the age was.
Wow.
And so here's the story. Anybody who wants to get into real estate, get into real estate today. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it, start working to afford it. But my point is, only reason I have any success in real estate is because I bought my house at 25. And I'm 42, so I've had that house for 17 years. It's paid off, and it pays me rent. I mean, that's it. There's nothing fancy I did.
Is that in Grand Prairie?
Yeah, there's nothing fancy I did except buy that house when I was of the age to buy a house.
Or get a
about
house at a
25.
young age.
Just now, tomorrow, as soon as you can, buy a house. I didn't buy my second house for 10 more years.
Wow.
Right. But now I'm telling my business, and that wasn't my intention, but I have possession of 7 properties.
Wow.
And I've sold 3 or 4 others. So I'm still small time in the grand scheme of things, but 7 properties is good, dude.
Right, yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you is, like, start now. There's no other way to explain it, because
Yeah.
now you can hustle, you can cheat the old lady and buy her house for $50,000, maybe, but that's few and far between. Real estate just is time. It just the more time you have, the more those values go up.
Right.
It's just, if you look at the trend over any span of time, up. And so,
Man, dang, that's good. See, that's why I wanted to talk about this.
business.
I mean,
business.
Even though you haven't been, what do you consider your 7 properties for yourself, for your ego, I would say?
You've known me. I'm not an ego guy.
Right.
Sometimes I find myself, like, if someone disrespects me, I don't even, in my mind, I'll be like, dude, I'm good. I got 7 properties. So
Right.
it does make me feel better, like, that I've, worked and acquired things, and in that regard, behind the scenes, not bragging about it, type deal. And that's the point of grinding. I mean, that's the whole idea of grinding. Most people don't see the grind. Most
Right.
people don't see. I watch Dave Goggins, and a guy runs 13 miles. He does a 30-second clip on Instagram while he's running, and people forget that he'd already been running for 2 hours, and he's going to run for 2 hours more.
Right.
They see that 30-second clip, like I can do that.
No, you can't.
Well, it's like you can do that 30-second clip, but you can't do the 17 miles that he ran this morning.
Right. Yeah. Man, people only see the results for the most part.
Yeah.
Man.
And so it's a battle within yourself.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you don't want? You want to be lazy? You can be lazy. You want to hustle and grind? And that's why I say the dreams of labor are sweet. If you can find the joy in that, if you can find that joy in the toil is what they use in the scripture,
right.
but joy in that work, and you're going to find a way to get through that. My joy in some of the work was looking at a house and saying it needs X, Y, and Z, and then like going through the process of like, dang, is this going to work out?
Right.
And like getting defeated.
Right.
And then it working, and you're like, oh, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's a sense of relief. And
What J. Cole say? It's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success.
Oh, see?
Man. Man.
Well, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, I'm glad I get to talk about it. I'm glad to share it with you a little bit. I hope.
Man,
If somebody, sometimes I think this is a little boring, but if it helps somebody grind a little bit,
if it helps one person,
yeah,
we succeeded.
Like I said, there's an element to real estate that's really simple, and it's buy now. Unless we have, it ain't going to be COVID because half the world didn't die, but unless we have a famine where half the world dies, real estate is always going to be
right.
Real estate in Texas went up through COVID, by the way, just so to be clear on that.
Well, that's crazy, man. I feel like we should definitely end it off on that note. I feel like that was some great advice for somebody. Great advice for me, because I definitely see myself doing something like that. It takes a lot more work to even get started, but it's definitely something I pray about, I'm working towards, and want to do. And is open a coffee shop /bar.
I think it's very
/creative space.
It's worth saying, I think you're doing the right moves. From my perspective, you're making the right moves. And today, you don't have one. But you keep talking about it. You keep doing things that get you closer to it. That's the most important thing. Some people want to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, here's my coffee shop. But if you keep grinding and doing the things that you're doing now, you will wake up one day and say, here's my coffee shop.
Amen. Amen. One thing. Did you hear Kendrick Lamar diss Drake and J. Cole?
Through you.
Oh, yeah, I told you about
Through
it.
you.
Wait, because it came out like a few days ago. Are you familiar with those two?
Yeah, I've heard, I've become less
So I just
pop culture.
This is random. I feel
love
like we
it.
should definitely talk about multiple things.
Yeah.
So Kendrick said, F the big three. It's just big me. So the big three is him,
Okay,
Kendrick
he's in the big
Lamar,
three.
Drake, and J. Cole. So J. Cole always references.
Was that his rhyme? That in his rap, his rhyme?
Yeah, he
F the big
referenced
three,
him,
it's just about
Drake
me.
and J. Cole. Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. J. Cole always references it. And Drake and J. Cole are on tour together. And they made a few new songs together. So it felt like, I guess Kendrick felt like they were, I don't know. I wonder what Kendrick feels. Because Drake always throws subliminals in his raps. Like, and it was this one line Drake said on his last album. He said, "You're not Kobe Bryant to us." He's referring to Kendrick, because Kendrick is one of the best rappers of all time.
Yeah.
Like, by far. Kendrick, people consider him at least top 3, I would say. Top 3 ever.
Oh, wow.
And Drake said, "You're
know
not
that.
Kobe Bryant to us," because Kobe Bryant is in that top 3 ever.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care what nobody say. Kobe Bryant is in that. So Drake said, "You're not Kobe Bryant to us." In Kendrick's new verse, he said, "Prince outlived Michael Jackson."
Dang.
What he's saying right there is, because I talked to somebody about this today, actually.
Okay.
They said Prince was better than Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was just bigger.
Yeah.
Drake
That's-
is bigger than Kendrick, but Kendrick is better.
Oh.
So
yeah.
Kendrick literally threw together a verse that is gonna bring so much attention back to rap that I feel like hasn't been there in
That's
years.
so cool.
Like it, man. I love that from Kendrick because that gives you grew up in an area where like Biggie, Tupac.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
had
yeah.
50 Cent. Who's 50 Cent?
Well,
the
and,
game.
and,
like
and Pac did that diss song, "Hit 'Em Up."
Right.
Oh man, that changed for me, from my perspective anyway. I didn't realize a diss song to your fellow rappers was a thing, and that was the first time I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I just like
right. Like
you're gonna. This is some stuff he's talking about.
Like it's crazy to think about. Kendrick really just revived the rap game with
Good.
one verse.
Good.
Like think about it, man. It's crazy,
It's because of you. I went down. I started listening to Nas again.
right?
And I've been kind of going through his stuff, so I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up and
Yeah,
get some
man. I
of
can't
this.
wait till we can have these rap conversations. Oh man, y'all wait for the video where we rank every Nas album. That'd be crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, Nas he has an album with Bob Marley's son. I know we was talking about Bob Marley the other
Yeah.
day. He has an album with Bob Marley's son. It's crazy.
That's pretty cool. You know, Bob does his dad's covers. I think he has his own stuff, right? And
Right.
of course, you just said now he's doing with rappers.
Yeah, it's old. It's from like 2004, maybe.
Okay.
I was like 1 year old. I haven't listened to it yet. But man, I hope you guys enjoyed Old Fashioned Sit Down episode 2. Man, this is just. I feel like this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks
man,
for doing this. It's fun.
This is so fun. We're gonna have a guest on episode 3. Don't worry, guys. It's not just gonna be us all the time. I mean, even though you love us, because
Yeah.
this is amazing. But we will have a guest on episode 3. I can't wait to bring you guys our first guest, man. It's gonna be amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Trayvon.
I'm Cole, and don't forget to bring your sponsorships. We're going worldwide. They're gonna you sponsor with us. You're gonna be making millions.
Speak that into existence, man. Amen. See y'all next episode.
See y'all.